Hi, back again, virtual Fireside, G&D, having a quick conversation about a few of the points that have been raised and questions raised by members of our group. I've got one that I think is actually really relevant for you, Gary, and I think maybe the group for it and me, but it's definitely something that I've been doing for 30 plus years. Nobody's perfect at it, but you've been through this change during lockdown, which is a tough time to do that. It's mentally and physically, it's both very, very draining. It's about how you manage yourself and invest in yourself, and that's mind, body, and soul. How you keep, smiling and keep happy, not just when the cameras are on, but when they're off. And how you keep yourself focused on making sure that you don't lose traction, you don't lose momentum. And I know you've had, from my personal view, an amazing 2020, just reconditioning of Gigi. So I would love some insight on that.
I don't think anyone in the world is thinking, let's go to Gary Goldsmith for a little bit of health and mind, body and soul advice.
If he could be turned, he would become a powerful ally.
I'm a changed man. I'm a reformed person. One of my superpowers was sort of being sociable, being with people. You get under the skin of them. You can win and influence people. You get hearts and soul and hearts and minds. A lot of that comes with pub time, going out for meals. Once that was taken away, it was quite hard. And I suffered, with sort of mental stability. Keeping concentration was so hard working from home. I'm like a magpie. So any bit of noise that was going on, I'm just sitting there. It's all distraction, perfect. I'm sure my missus was buying stuff just to annoy me because the door was going off all the time. But once we've got a brilliant support group, right? And we've got some people who understand this and no more so than yourself. But when you actually started looking at stuff and the things that you could do, it's made an almighty difference. So, I've started cooking. Now, I started cooking on Christmas Day, and I would suggest to people that isn't the best meal to have a go at.
I saw the picture.
I know, Delia, Kinlaya, but you've got to have a go at it and start somewhere. And we found it fun. Stopped drinking, which has made me super sharp. I mean, I was a high performer in the alcoholic. I think most people in recruitment are. But it's made me such a better person not you, but it's made me such a better person for it. I was up at 5 this morning to try and get my steps in because we've got a challenge. We're cooking some vegan veggie food this afternoon as a group, being collectively. I don't overly read books because I find that they all conflict with each other. So if I find something I like, or a methodology or a principle or philosophy that I like, I will learn it to death, and it becomes part of my DNA. So I've done a little bit more reading, but all I wanted to do, Dean, was be consistently consistent. And I did notice that in lockdown 1 and 2, I wasn't always being that. And people rely on us to be that sort of rock. So I had a duty of care, and it's fiduciary duty, and I take it seriously that, I want to be that person that they can always rely on me, and not be a person got come 4:30 when I'm sitting there watching TV, just losing my head. That it doesn't matter if it's 4 a.m., 4 p.m., I'm consistently consistent. So it maps around the biggest part of all of this was, and the lesson out of your book, routine. So I get up pretty much the same time. I'll go to bed. I'll have early nights. I'll try to eat healthily. I'll try to put my exercise in. And look at me, right? In general, I've shed some timber. I feel pretty good about everything. I feel holier than thou. If I see people drinking, I just feel idiot. I'm not sure how long that will last. But it's about just being consistently consistent with what you're doing. And it's all right. Do you know what? And also, the minute I announced to people that I wasn't drinking, they all came out of the woodwork. There are loads of people going through this sort of transformation piece around themselves. And it's nice to know that you're not alone doing it. I've also level 3 Spanish. Where on earth is that coming from?
Muy bien.
Muy bien, monsieur, muy bien. Yeah, so do you know what? I'm having a laugh. I'm just trying to fill my time with stuff. So that's important, but routine.
The reason I asked that question to you is, you know, I've seen that transformation. I speak to you more than most. I see you more than most because we do our fireside chats and whatever else. And you know, I applaud what you've done in the last year. I think it's been amazing, especially considering what's been going on in the world, which actually just adds more pressure and stress to it. And I think the one thing I've said to you a few times over the years, and is very relevant for our managers and our CEOs and everybody else who's got staff charges that they need to take care of, is that in the same way that you're probably the most social person I've ever met in my life, and you can't not have fun when around you or being out with you, everybody wants a bit of that. So you're then that person for everybody else. And then when the lights go off, who's that person for you? Who's I think the same for managers and directors of businesses. You know, look after yourself as well. You'll be phoning all of your staff, you'll be speaking to them, making sure their mental health and well-being is first priority to you. But that no matter what happens, that takes energy from you and that drains you and that leaves you. And so look, my thing is, yes, it is easier in a normal world to be social and do good business. I've probably had to work harder in my life and being less social and just being, you know, business focused. And so there is a happy medium, but just work out what's the priority. And if you prioritize your goals in life, your things in life, then you'll know that one's a priority over that one. So you're not going to do that one because that one comes first. And that goes, I think, for our group when they're dealing with their staff as well. They've got to have the support mechanism for themselves. And I know you'll pick up the phone to me, I'll pick up the phone to you. That's great. But you can't just be the leader on your own. You need a support network yourself as well.
No man is an island, Carson, not even Thomas Barrow.
I think we've been very fortunate to have the gang that we've got because they're all walking as total strangers, a slight trepidation about hanging around with other recruiters. Everyone has done that, so they are very used to making people feel very relaxed. But we both get calls from people all the time. If suddenly we're a bit quiet or suddenly we're a bit vocal about a subject, the phone starts ringing and people just check that you're all right. Yeah. And I think that's the joy of the RDLC. It's a self-perpetuating machine now where everyone's actually looking after each other and it's us against the world. It's the plucky 300. So yes, that's helped us immeasurably. Absolutely.
I think it's almost like its own big organism where everything is interlinked and people, you know, in the sense of you're all one part and you all depend on each other in many different ways to be as successful as you are. And that's that virtuous cycle that's provided. So you do need to spend time investing in yourself. You do need to look out for others. And that's the balance where you give energy and you'll get energy back. And that creates that lovely cycle that I think we've got in the RDLC and everybody benefits from. And we know that because we hear it. People say it's been amazing.